Hello. So, my name is Roald Bradstock. I'm an Olympic athlete, an Olympic artist, and I have a nickname in the media as Olympic Picasso for my antics on and off the stage over the years. So I think all of us here can agree that sport is a universal language, right? So what about the other universal language, art? And when I say art, I'm talking about the arts. So dancing, singing, acting, photography, painting. What if there was a way to combine sport and art so that we reached everyone? Now, if you're like me, at least up until recently, you would think that that's not really possible because sport and art are very different. Well, that's what I used to think. And again, I was being an athlete and artist all my life. And I struggled because they were so different and they were so time-consuming, and they both wanted my full attention. And I found it very, very hard, and it was just something I struggled with until I got my art degree. I became an Olympian. So I had these two tracks that were going well, but they're completely separate. Until the year 2000. In the year 2000, I entered a competition with the US Olympic Committee, a sport art competition. And I entered this painting called Struggle for Perfection, and it won. And the result was that I had this painting, then was shipped over to Lausanne, and I was part of the international art exhibition in conjunction with the Sydney Games, celebrating the arts. So I was a US representative in painting. What I didn't realize was the original concept in the Olympics, they used to have arts competitions. And they kind of brought this back. Unfortunately, I didn't win a medal or anything, but to me it was a great honor to have a painting at the Olympic Museum. So it was really exciting. So what I decided to do, and again, do some research, and what I found was the founder of the modern Olympics, Peter Coubertin, was an artist. I don't know if a lot of you know this, but he actually designed the rings, the Olympic rings, but he also won the poetry competition in 1912. So I did a little more research, and I found that Mark Spitz, one of my idols in the 70s, is an abstract painter. I looked even further, and I found that the Muhammad Ali painted, he also did poetry. And then Pele, also an artist. And then Flojo, Al Oerter, Bob Beamon, graphic designer. It's like, okay, so this started making me, take a step back and wondering, what is it about these people that, they're very successful athletes, why are they in the arts? Or, involving, they want to express themselves. So I decided to, because of the struggle I had with being an athlete and an artist, to really go back and look at the sport world differently and really embrace sport and art and see what I could, see. And I apologize, this slide got a bit messed up in translation here, but basically looked at it from a whole different point of view. And to me, art is about ideas and about how you look at things and perspective. So I started looking at, thinking about things differently. Say that the Olympic Games. Now, what's the most sought-after tickets? Olympic Games. At every Olympic Games, the opening and closing ceremonies. It's not a sporting event. It's a production. It's theater. It's singing. It's dancing. It's a celebration. I'm from England, but I live in Atlanta, in the US. One of the biggest sporting events we have is the Super Bowl. Smack in the middle, they have a halftime show. Again, singing, dancing, music, stage production. So again, I look at it as start looking now at the connection between sport and art. And start thinking about color and elements from the art world. Color combinations, typography, calligraphy. You think about mascots, cups, medals, Someone has to design those. Oh, sorry. So again, it changed my point of view. And so what I did then is really embrace this and combine it in my life. This is where, things got strange, but also just amazing, where it was, before I hesitated in pursuing, in my artwork, anything to do with sports. What I found was basically anything to do in the art world to do with sports is considered like the lowest form of life. It's just one of those subject matters they don't, isn't given the full credit. So I just embraced it. I started, doing paintings and drawings, but my subject matter was sports. I turned the Javelin runway into a fashion runway. I started painting my outfits. I started painting the javelins. I started getting a lot of media coverage. I guess it's kind of odd. I kind of took, I'm throwing a javelin, so the idea about, the art of throwing, and just started throwing anything and everything and making up world records. And just throwing and then posting it on YouTube. Well, again, I started getting millions of hits on YouTube because, I had some official records, some unofficial records, and some highly questionable records. And I'm sure people, kind of question my sanity, like, what the? And again, I'm just, I don't think I'm an eccentric, but then again, you might think otherwise. So anyway, I started winning awards. I started getting attention. I started, exhibiting, my outfits. Anytime I compete now, people want to know what I'm going to wear next. What am I going to throw next? So I also joined an organization called Olympians. I'm now the executive director of, and we now have over 60 Olympian and Paralympian artists. And we've only just started. So again, to me, it's about finding, the connection between sport and art, and just kind of coming up with a different way of looking at things. So, coming up to this year, I had the honor to go to Calcutta, St. Lawrence High School, who's up for one of the awards today, asked me to be the ambassador for this event called Expressions 2017. Again, a competition all around art and sport. An amazing experience. I didn't know what to expect. This was back in June on Olympic Day. So I flew out there and was greeted in the bottom left there by I think it was just under 2,200 students, all in unison, and been practicing for weeks, came out and greeted me. We're all together saying, "I want to be an Olympian." Like, wow. It was just, they all jumped up and down. And the next thing they do, because they all knew I loved throwing, they set a world record for throwing paper aeroplanes. So for the next about 30 seconds, I think they threw about 10,000. But it was really funny. But it was just something that just, I feel like I just went to a whole nother level. I went to one of my outfits. There was 36 classes, and I went to every single one of them because I wanted everyone to feel included. I didn't want to miss one single class. Did a quick selfie, all the kids went wild. And the following day, we had the actual art competition. And it was great kind of contrast between the energy and excitement and the physicality of the day before, with then sitting down and being focused, but again, being creative. And I came up with some great artwork around, peace and sport. And again, I just look at this as an opportunity. I mean, this is the first year they did it. And next year, now we've done it once. People see what what happened. And within their network, I think they have 805 schools worldwide, 770 students. We want to really expand it through their network, but also expand it through Calcutta. And to me, it is a great example of something peace and sport should really get behind and support. And basically this becomes like a template that can be used in other organizations around the world that they can do within cities, within communities, nationally, but also internationally. So basically to finish up, again, this is about creating a platform for sport and art and innovation towards peace. What I would like to suggest is that Peace and Sport consider possibly creating a division, a part of Peace and Sport, that would kind of oversee sport and art programs for peace. Now, again, being an artist, I don't want it to go off with the art world. It can get very strange out there. I'm trusting you. I'm telling you. But to me, it's really focusing on the subject matter of sport as an educational, basically for educational investigation, artistic interpretation, and expression. And to me, it's just, what a wonderful tool where, for peace, to combine sport and art in a totally new way. I mean, it's right there with what Peace and Sport is doing right now with, Sport Simple. It's all about creativity. You have disadvantages whether it's lack of money or equipment. Okay, so you identify the problem, you come up with a solution. So to me, it's you're right there. It's just taking that next step and reaching out and using two universal languages to really create a platform that can unite everyone for peace. Thank you.